Yeah, I do care about this. Nowadays, I hear, in fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday, how people are ending up in these digital battles. Yeah. Never raise to it. It's terrible. It sucks most people deep down know what the fairness in a situation is. Some, of course, are psychopaths or sociopaths, but most people, and you have to hold on to that fairness and figure how or if you can take that forward. That's all human beings can do, even in Ukraine today. And I know that it might be impossible to put that in a film, but that is a terribly important. Not learning how to do that is the antithesis to surviving almost. And it's so interesting how 11 or 12 years ago, you see, there's two things. I actually want to leave this country. After the test case in 2006, I'd already started it, but I would be an emergency lay legal advisor to people with terrible problems. And because of that, I would sometimes monitor online Facebook groups. Well, it started as email forums, which were much more sane, frankly, and it became Facebook groups. And after 3 or 4 years, I gave up. I just saw something happening which was terrible, which is literally everybody, both genders. These Facebook groups, and I see it still happens even more now, every single person, sooner or later, starts putting something up about how to see the narcissist. He's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. She's a control freak. He's a control freak. This gets you nowhere. It's just. But at the same time, I would notice a very common insult start to arise, independently of that. But anybody who you're at odds with, I noticed it. It was done to me, of course. The silliest thing ever. This kind of insult of, you always make it about you. It's funny thinking about it now. I've no idea what that even means. Sane, reasonably civilized people know there's rules in society. There are rules of society. More educated people know that it's a hell of a lot more complex than that. And also, some rules need changing. Did I put it in part one? I think I did. If I didn't, a couple of days ago, I turned my radio on, the 5:30 Radio 4, and it reminded us that in 15 something or other, was it 1562? Yeah, anyway, in Naples, in 15 something or other, it was decreed that kissing is illegal in public, on pain of death penalty if you kiss. Now that's a beautiful example, no matter what your gender is, no matter what your whatever persuasion is. That's a beautiful example of all societies always have come up with dodgy and repressive rules, and people then over time need to fight back and get them changed back. I mean, yeah, there's a cynicism and, well, you could call it cowardice. It's actually, well, anyway, I've had that conversation many a time. Societies have always needed, these people are not maverick, of people to, from time to time, come along and be part of the movement to redress silly, awry, new legislation. The one I always say, no, I'm not, this has gone on too long. Right, I'm trying to get to a point. What's the point? Well, the point really is It's astonishing. I couldn't believe it. Now, interestingly, there you have that's the review for Captain Fantastic. Now, I'm not quite Captain Fantastic. Never took my kid on assault courses. Um, but The Guardian give it a glowing review. By the way, it doesn't really have a properly happy ending. Mine does. It only cost $5 million. So did Nomadland. Well, that's not a huge amount of money. Make of that what you will. This is going to be the most embarrassing video to put up, but I ain't got time to redo it. And I'm in super nick this morning. Yeah. Kickstarter talks of developing movements. You see, I think the film, the majority of the filmmaking profession industry is so, they have to put so much energy, obviously, into a project. They don't think beyond it. Now, we had, in my 20s, in fact, teens, French Lieutenant's Woman was a movie, a film within a film. You see, there are various aspects to I couldn't give a damn. In fact, the reason I have to do this is because I've had I've been in doubt for years. Do I have a responsibility to show this story? Nah, it's so boring. It's so boring to keep dealing with new people from the media. Every time you have to develop a relationship with them, media's the wrong word, from the whole media industry, the gatekeepers, the whole world of turning a human being into something that is put out on whatever format. It is so tedious. And I love walking that hill. Every second that I have to speak to somebody new and explain myself, and then they all make out that you're new best friends and that they're going to be your liaison for months, and then 3 days later you get an email. Oh no, so and so has been taken off the project. You've got so and so now. Oh God, it's so tedious. Yeah, I need to get this done. I do have a responsibility. Little responsibility to get it turned into something, but there can be a film made of making the film as well. Which one other people can keep control of? Maybe make money. You know, my fantasy idea is that actually we gather once a month, once every couple of weeks. Here, I could get use of some land there and have our brainstorming sessions. Have other people, one or two people. You do a bit of the script. You do this. You do that. What's the word? Yeah, I don't mind if there are 4 or 5 different stakeholders in this. And the funny thing is, the person that owns this land. Now, unfortunately, if I showed him this, it's not about him. I only encountered him a few months ago, but I encountered him at a rare point in my life. Very rare, just occasional. It's like the winter was getting a bit to me. I got precarious living circumstances. It was so encouraging to meet him because he's somebody who 15 years ago, he probably wouldn't have thought to do what he did, which was to actually fight for his own kids. And it was so, I could say, well, there's one of my little disciples, but yeah, that's why I did it. Not for him personally, but so others will feel that they are doing the right thing to fight for their kids. Now, it's not about fathers' rights, though. It's just about, well, societies change, but you have dozens, thousands of so-called professionals who have a stake in it being as it is. And frankly, they're so lazy. That's what I discovered. All change, of course, causes them to have to do extra work. That's what it's about. Oh, God, I sound like a prat, but I'm going to have to put this up because I'm not going to waste my time. making anything more. I do see in your Kickstarter world what's the right way of putting it? Oh, I probably need to. Right, is there anything else? No, there's nothing else. In your Kickstarter world, I see. I'm astonished actually how it's quite clear that lots and lots of. I mean, I don't know. Are these all thousands and thousands of media graduates throughout the world, including people who are contributing, who do want to be just have a little bit of a part of a little project? There seems to be much more putting money in than I thought. But you see, I don't care what happens. Other than one thing, when you're doing something in a way, it's not actually, technically, but on behalf of your child, your flesh and blood, you want it to be the best. Deep down, that's always there. But I know there's no downside to this period, this few years. There's no downside. I'd like to find a few people who they may well be from within side film, that industry, but they can take it forward and keep it going in a way. Now it's not some some kind of like the nomad land kind of eulogizes a perception of a certain kind of person who's female, this vulnerable yet whatever, blah blah blah. No, no, no. This is universal. Whoever, and I'm sure, well, there will have been somebody, or maybe there was an organization in the second part of the 1500s who fought back against the Naples legislation that said if you kissed somebody in public, you would get your bloody head chopped off. You need to give it to the man. And maybe that's what it should be called. Give It to the Man Productions. I was going to call it after that hill. Yeah, let's just form a production company and see what we can do.